Boys, girls, babes, welcome back to a somewhat solemn episode of the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Our Washington Capitals, having lost 8 of their last 10 games now, it has not been particularly fun, but we will try to make it bearable during today's show for all of you. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for tuning in today. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the show recently, and to all of our longtime subscribers who continue to watch and continue to support the show every single week. I appreciate all of you fine folks so much. And hey, if you are a new listener and or if you haven't subscribed to the show just yet, do click on that subscribe button. It's down there in the bottom right corner of your screen if you are watching on YouTube, or on your favorite podcast platform if you are listening in audio. And yeah, let's talk some Washington Capitals hockey, baby. We would love to have you along for this ride here with us, no matter how this season does or does not turn out for our Washington Capitals. And yeah, today I wanted to talk about and dive into a few different things, namely the ice time distribution amongst Capitals forwards so far this season, as well as Alexander Ovechkin's game appearing to turn a corner here as he is rounding into form after missing almost all of the Caps training camp with a lower body injury. So we will talk about all of that, and you guys can, as always, leave me your comments down below on the video if you're watching on YouTube, or over on our Facebook page as well. That is under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps, over on Facebook. So leave me your comments. I always love reading those. And let me know your thoughts about this team right now and how they have started the season here. Because I'll be honest, babes, like, it has not been pretty at times here to start the season. And yeah, today I did want to dive into and talk a little bit about the ice time distribution by head coach Spencer Carbery and his staff. Because it's been honestly, like, a bit confusing at times. Like, some of these decisions have just been downright confusing, baffling, befuddling, whichever adjectives that you want to use. And, you know, I'll use this most recent game against the New Jersey Devils on Saturday night as a perfect example. Because, like, here are some of the weird distributions of ice time that I'm talking about, and then I'll go into depth telling you, like, why I find them weird, right? So first off, you guys probably know which one is coming first because everybody has been talking about it. First off is Ryan Leonard, who on many nights has looked like the Caps' most dangerous player offensively. He played only 9 minutes and 29 seconds again last night against the New Jersey Devils. And I know that the kid maybe didn't have the best game defensively last night, and that is certainly reflected in the analytics after the game if you look at that stuff. So maybe Spencer Carbery and his staff can justify it, you know, for last night specifically. But I mean, overall, like, it's not as if this has just been a one-game thing of not giving Ryan Leonard any ice time, right? I guess that's my point here. Like, this has been going on all season. You were definitely starting to see patterns now in the way that they are using him. And unfortunately, the way that they're using him is to overwhelmingly not use him, right? So that is frustrating a lot of fans right now, for sure. That's been one of the big talking points after almost every single game, is a lack of ice time for Ryan Leonard. And then we look at last night's game against the Devils. Let me ask you, who was the best player on the ice for the Caps in last night's game? I'm pretty sure that we all have the same answer there, right? Anyone who watched the game with their eyes open anyway, it was Alex Ovechkin. Like, far and away, Alex Ovechkin was their best player on the ice last night. And I understand that that has not been true for a lot of the games this season so far. The guy is 40 years old now, right? But last night, it was true. And when we look at his ice time from last night, like, the guy was put out there for pretty much the same amount of ice time as Caps fourth line center Nick Dowd. Now, obviously, I have nothing against Nick Dowd. He's great, and I have been saying for years that he is the best fourth line center in the entire National Hockey League. But he's not exactly an offensive dynamo, right? He would tell you that himself, Nick Dowd would. Like, offense is not the first part of his game that he focuses on, and it is not the first thing that you think of when you think of Nick Dowd, right? And so given that we were trailing for most of this game against the Devils, like literally from 5 minutes into the game when the Devils scored a power play goal, we were trailing. And given that our best offensive player in this game was so clearly Alex Ovechkin, and given that this was not a back-to-back scenario or anything like that where you would want to limit the 40-year-old's ice time, it just seems rather wild to me, frankly, that Alex Ovechkin is receiving the same amount of ice time in that scenario as Nick Dowd. It would, of course, be a different scenario if, like, we were ahead in the game, right? Then, of course, you want Nick Dowd to play more. But yeah, trailing, like I said, for almost the entire game last night, Alex Ovechkin clearly being your best offensive player on the ice on that particular night, the way that he was going, the way that he was flying around out there, it seems pretty weird, like I said, that he gets an ice time that is equivalent to that of Nick Dowd. Aliaksei Protas, on the other hand, played the most amongst Caps forwards, 22 minutes and 3 seconds, which, if you told that to me last season, I would have said, hell yeah. But the way that he has been playing for the majority of this season so far, like, let me just ask you folks, like, does anyone think that Aliaksei Protas is playing particularly well right now? Like, does anyone think that he is playing up to the level that we need him to be at, the level that we saw from him for basically the entirety of last season? Does anyone feel like he is going to score a goal when he is on the ice in a game that we are trailing right now? Does anyone think that he needed 22 plus minutes of ice time last night? Or would you rather a few of those shifts went to Alex Ovechkin with the way that he was playing last night? And trust me, I get it. Like, Protas is Carbery's guy, right? Protas is all of our guy, frankly, if we're being honest. Like, I love the kid. Love him, seriously. I think that he is a fantastic player, and he is going to be a fantastic player for this franchise for a very, very, very long time. But, like, he's not having a banner start to this regular season so far, right? Like, he's been okay, and his numbers so far are okay, but he has not looked particularly dangerous offensively at any point so far this season. And so there's something to be said, right, for, like, changing up the script of the things that you like to do as a coach, the situations that you like to put guys in, the players that you like to have on the ice in any given scenario. If those guys aren't going right now, like if a guy's been ice cold offensively, it is okay to change up the script for one game, for one night, to do something different, to try to get 2 points in the standings. And I just feel like Spencer Carbery's got, like, you know, like that red cartoon button, you know, like from that meme that everyone shares around, the cartoon red button that has Aliaksei Protas's name on it, and Carbery just has that button like right underneath the bench where he's standing, and anything that happens on the ice, any situation that arises on the ice, he's just like, boop, right? Press his button, Aliaksei Protas time, right? Aliaksei Protas over the boards. I feel like that's just his go-to, which, like I said, is normally fine, completely fine, because Aliaksei Protas is a great player, and he is great in all situations, normally, right? But he's not going right now. Like, he has been cold, like pretty ice cold, to be honest with you. He started off the season okay, and then since then, it's just been like ice cold, literally. He hasn't looked dangerous offensively, like I said. And so I just think that there has to be a bit of a feel to it too, where you as a coach can say, hey, you know what? Pro doesn't look like he's going tonight. He doesn't have it tonight. And Ovi does have it. So I am going to put Ovi out there more and see if we can't get this thing tied up and get this game won. Get the 2 points in the standings, right? Which we need right now, by the way. And like Alex Ovechkin did so much with so little ice time last night. It was actually incredible. Like, he was all over the ice on every shift. You felt like the Caps were going to score a goal every single time that he was out there. He was that dangerous. The guy turned back the clock, frankly, and was fucking flying around out there. And when the Caps needed it the most, right? So that was really great to see. he shows up, as always, when his team needs it the most. To see that, he can still do that on some nights at 40 years old is encouraging and pretty incredible in itself. And so, I know that he can't do that every night anymore, seeing as how he is 40 years old. But I guess my point is just that on the nights where he is doing that, where he does have those legs going, if you're Spencer Carbery, you should absolutely take advantage of it, because he is very clearly still one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in the sport when, like I said, he's able to turn back the clock for a night and have the legs. So use him when he is like that. That's all I'm saying, right? Because it really felt like, with one or two more Alex Ovechkin shifts in regulation last night, maybe the Caps win that game in regulation, right? So, you guys let me know what you think. I'm just kind of going off on a bit of my own rant here, but this is just what I've seen, right? This is just my podcast, my show. I just come on here. I tell you what I think. I don't pretend to be some expert, or I'm not a coach or anything like that. I've only volunteered in that capacity, never a paid job or anything like that. This is not my day job, so I don't, like I said, pretend to be the head coach, an expert, anything like that. I'm just coming on here and telling you guys what I'm seeing as someone who has at least played hockey, not coached hockey, but played hockey since I was very young, 4 years old. That's what it is up here in Canada. They start them young. But yeah, Tom Wilson too, just sticking with ice time here for a minute. Tom Wilson too played more than 3 full minutes more than Alex Ovechkin last night. And I know that we all love Tom Wilson here, but to me, it's kind of the same thing as with Aliaksei Protas right now, where it's yes, Tom Wilson, he had a great start to the season. But he has really cooled off since then. And he really hasn't played particularly great in several games in a row now, as much as I hate to say that because I love the guy. And so again, it's specifically last night, did anyone ever feel like Tom Wilson was, threatening so much offensively that he was going to be the one to get the game-winning goal there? Or would we rather have had Alex Ovechkin, the greatest goal scorer of all time, who was firing on all cylinders last night? Would we rather have had him getting those few extra shifts in regulation last night to try to win that game? Again, maybe we don't need to go to overtime. Maybe we don't need to go to a shootout where we do not have a snowball's chance in hell of ever winning a hockey game in the shootout. And yeah, that's another thing, by the way, is that any time that the Washington Capitals are in overtime, they should be doing absolutely everything at that point to win the hockey game in overtime, and doing absolutely everything to avoid going to a shootout. It drove me nuts last night. How this is a totally different sidebar here, but it drove me nuts last night how the coaching staff kept putting Nick Dowd out there in overtime to win the faceoff to get us possession, right? The only problem was he kept losing the faceoffs. And then because he was losing the faceoffs, then he kept getting stuck on the ice in overtime. And obviously he's not the fastest skater, not the fleetest of foot is Nick Dowd, right? Never has been, never will be. And so he kept getting stuck out there, and we kept getting hemmed in our own end because we could not get the puck back. And the Devils kept targeting Nick Dowd's lack of foot speed in overtime too. You could see it when they were buzzing around in our end of the ice and he's out there, they're attacking him specifically. So it's I get putting him out there with the hopes of winning the faceoff. That's a fine plan. But again, making adaptations and adjustments to that plan when it is not working, right? Maybe after he's lost the first 3 faceoffs that you tried that with, maybe you don't need to send him out there for a 4th crack at it, right? I don't know, just my opinion. All right, so these are just kind of, I'm really going off here today, but we have lost 8 of 10 games, so I think everyone, frankly, is a little bit cranky right now. I've seen a lot of that online, Facebook, Twitter, all of these places. Caps fans are a little bit cranky right now, understandably so. It has not been a banner start to the season, right? And so I honestly don't even like doing this. I don't like coming on here And it sounds like I'm trashing my own team. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to trash the Washington Capitals or Spencer Carbery specifically. I fucking love Spencer Carbery, okay? Like, he is my favorite coach that we have had in a long, long time. I loved Barry Trotz. I loved Bruce Boudreau back in the day, but kind of in a different way. Like, he was more just like, I kind of loved him. Like, he was just kind of a quirky guy. I didn't ever think that we were actually going to win anything with him. But he was a quirky guy. He was a fun guy to have around. But yeah, I absolutely love Spencer Carbery. I've said it on multiple occasions. I would run through a fucking brick wall for that guy. I think he's an incredible coach. These are just some of the things that I'm seeing right now. Specifically in terms of, like I said, the ice time distribution, it's just a little bit weird, right? And that's kind of like, that's what we do as fans, right? Is we look at these things, we point out things that we maybe do or don't agree with. We look at why those things might be happening. What could they maybe do to try to fix it, right? And of course, like, none of the coaching staff is listening to us. Let's be honest. We're nobodies here, right? They're never going to hear this, but it's always good and fun to just discuss amongst ourselves as fans what we're all seeing. Just put ideas on the table, and you guys can let me know, like I said, in the comment section down below. What are you guys seeing? What have you been happy with and not happy with in terms of, like I said, the ice time distribution? I'm talking about the forward specifically, but anywhere that you guys have seen, like whether you're looking at the front end or the back end for the Caps. You can even look, goaltending wise. Do you wish that, Logan Thompson was playing a little bit less to keep him a little bit more rested? Do you wish Chucky was getting more starts? Do you wish Logan Thompson was playing every game? Let me know what you think. Fill up that comment section, as we like to get everyone's opinion in here, and we can all discuss amongst ourselves. But yeah, so that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about today. Was the weird ice time distribution amongst the forwards. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was Alex Ovechkin's game. But just looking at the time here, we're almost at about 20 minutes here. We usually go about a half hour or so on these episodes. So we've got some time. I don't want to make this episode too long for you guys. I know you guys have got, places to go, people to see. So I will just say that it sure looks to me as if his game, Alex Ovechkin's game, is starting to round into form a considerable amount here as we get a bit deeper into the season. Almost coming up on the quarter mark of the season now. Caps are about to play their 19th and 20th games coming up here, so that's pretty much the quarter pole of the season. So that's always, kind of a pretty good mark of the season to just say, like, okay, like, we're kind of through that first opening part of the season where things can always be a little bit funky, and you kind of start to see guys kind of starting to be what they're actually going to be, right? And yeah, for Alex Ovechkin, like, the guy missed, like I said, almost the entire training camp and preseason with a lower body injury. So him more than anyone, like, we kind of knew, right, that he wasn't going to probably have the most flaming hot start ever to this season, right? Just because he missed so much time, like I said, training camp and preseason, and with an injury too, right? Like that factors in a lot, a lower body injury. Lots of people, noticing that the way that he was moving and skating to start this season has not been the same as in years past. So I think that definitely factors in the fact that it was a lower body injury. But yeah, my point is, like, we knew that it was realistically going to take some time for him to ramp it up, right? Like, to get back into game form and start making the impact that we all know that he can make. And it certainly looks, like I said, as though that is the case now for Alex Ovechkin. Like, his game has picked up a lot in recent weeks. Obviously, the game against the Devils last night, that just being the most recent example of that. But also in general, like, I'm just looking here over the Caps' last 6 games now. He has 3 goals, 7 points, and is a +4 over their last 6 games. So those are much more Alex Ovechkin-like numbers, right? Like, that's a 40+ goal pace over a full season. That is over a point per game, even at 40 years old. So like I said, much more Alex Ovechkin like, right? And it's not just the numbers, obviously, with Alex Ovechkin, right? It's also the eyeball test. Like, he just looks much, much better out there. He's skating better. He's handling the puck better. So these are all very, very good signs for the Caps moving forward deeper into this season for obvious reasons, right? Because as we saw last night, it still is on this team. It still is, so goes Alex Ovechkin, so goes the Washington Capitals, right? And like, we can debate on a later episode here about whether or not that's actually a good thing or not. Like, the fact that this team is still relying upon a 40-year-old to be the engine that drives the team. I don't know. You probably know what I'm going to say, but like I said, we can debate that on a later episode. That's a whole other conversation, a whole other can of worms for another day, like I said, because I don't want to keep you guys here too long today. You guys, like I said, you got places to go, people to see, and me too, by the way. Like, I have got a life too, even if it doesn't seem like it to you guys, because I'm on here so often talking to you all. But yes, I do have things to do as well. So we'll save that one for another day. But yeah, Alex Ovechkin, to me, like I said, we can debate at a later date whether that's, healthy for the success of this team or not, to still be relying so heavily on a 40-year-old who may or may not retire at the end of this season, right? We've barely even talked about that. There's not really anything to talk about so far, because he really hasn't said one way or the other which way he is leaning, whether he's going to, retire after this season, play one more season, play more than one more season. We don't really know. It doesn't sound like any of his teammates know either. Tom Wilson, even, who is particularly close with him, doesn't seem like Willie has any idea. I think nobody knows, like, nobody in the media knows, none of these insiders know, none of his teammates even seem to know, because Alex Ovechkin doesn't know. I think that's the reason why. I don't think Ovi even knows whether or not he's going to play past this season. So yeah, we can, like I said, we can debate another day on this show here, just, how healthy or not healthy we think that is for the team to still be relying so heavily upon him. I've been discussing this a lot with folks already, just friends and things like that who are also fans of the team. Just kind of, you really want to see some of these younger guys stepping up more right now, right? Like, it's time. Like, and to be fair, we saw it last season from Aliaksei Protas, amazing season. From Connor McMichael, very, very, very good season. You want to see it now consistently, year to year, right? We want to see them not even just like continue at the same pace that they were last season, but even get even a little bit better, right? Bump those numbers up even a little bit more. Although I understand that is asking a lot, because they had very good numbers last season. But that's what you want to see with these young guys, right? 24 years old. I will say, like, the back end appears to be in very, very good shape with some of the young players that they have there. Martin Ferravari, obviously, just re-signed to a 7-year contract extension before this season began. So that is a great signing, I should say, for the Washington Capitals, to have him for another 7 years, just 25 years old. Rasmus Sandin, very, very, very strong on the back end for the Washington Capitals. He is signed as well. So I think that they are in great shape on the back end, certainly with some of these young players that they have. Even like Jacob Chickern is not old, right? Like, he's in his mid-20s. He's not old. He's got the 8-year deal now as well with the Caps, so that'll be great to have him around for a significant amount of time, 8 more seasons with Chicky. So yeah, I think their back end is in really good shape with a lot of these young players. And I think, and I certainly thought coming into the season, that our forward group was in pretty good shape with these young players that we have as well. It's just so far this season, they haven't really lived up to what they did last season. And it's not time to panic yet, because I do think that young players, they always go through like a significant amount of ups and downs for the most part, unless you're like Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, right? Most young players, they go through ups and downs, ebbs and flows. So this is normal. It's certainly not time to panic yet. But yeah, you would like to see them just putting up a bit more numbers, honestly, a bit more production, so that there's not so much falling on the shoulders of a 40-year-old, like I said. So we will see what those guys can do. I do wonder with Aliaksei Protas specifically, this was something that I just thought about the other day, to be honest with you. But his, like the injury that he had near the end of last season, near the end of the regular season, that caused him to miss the end of the regular season and caused him to miss some playoff games for the Caps as well. I'm just wondering, like, because they did kind of rush him back from that to get him back, like, into the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? It seemed a little bit rushed for what the injury was. Like, if you remember, it was a skate cut, a pretty bad one, a tendon injury on his foot, right? And yeah, I just got thinking about it the other day because I'm like, he just looks so un-Aliaksei Protas right now. Like, he just doesn't look like himself. It's not just the fact that he's not putting up the numbers that we were, growing accustomed to, from last season. But he just really doesn't look like himself. Like when I watch him moving around out there on the ice, he doesn't seem to have that extra gear, that extra burst of speed that he had all last season. So I caught myself wondering the other day, is that something that could still be affecting him? That foot injury, that tendon injury, from that skate cut. You really hope not, because you never want a player to be dealing with something like that long term. And I don't have any inside knowledge. Like, I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't know anything. I'm just wondering, like I said, to myself and out loud to you guys, I'm just wondering if that is something that might still be affecting him, because yeah, to me, he doesn't look the same, and he didn't look the same, like the way that he looked all regular season last season up until that injury. When he came back for the Stanley Cup playoffs, he didn't look the same. Everybody knew that. He just was not himself. He wasn't moving the same. He was not the same player. You could, like, through the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs, when he came back, he never really got it back, right? We never really saw the real Aliaksei Protas in the Stanley Cup playoffs last season. I would have hoped that over a full offseason that it would have had more time to heal. I don't know. It just, like I said, I have no inside knowledge whatsoever. It's just something that I'm wondering now, because he doesn't really look the same to me. And I know that it's not a scenario where, like, he didn't train hard enough over the off season or something like that, because that is not Aliaksei Protas. Like, we all know that. He's the hardest working guy on the team. He's one of the hardest working guys in the league. Like, he's first on the ice, he's last off the ice. He works really, really, really hard. So because I'm so confident that that's not the case, like that he didn't get, a good enough summer, good enough training, because I'm so confident that it's not that, I'm just wondering whether it's, something to do with that injury that he had near the end of last season. I hope not, because we really need him to be Aliaksei Protas. That will go a long, long way to turning this season around for the Caps. So we will wait and see just if he can get back into form here, because yeah, we need him. He's one of our best players. He was one of the best players, honestly, in the entire league last season. One of the best 5-on-5 players, certainly. So yeah, we need that guy, man. So just, I don't know. We just cross our fingers. We hope that he can get back to form. But no, like I'll wrap up for today, I guess, because I've just taken a look here. We're almost crossing half hour here. I could just talk hockey forever with you guys, honestly. Like, I just really enjoy chatting hockey with you guys. This season has been a lot of fun so far, even though the Capitals aren't playing their best yet. We hope that the best is still to come, obviously, for this team. But yeah, some of the things that I had here I'll save for next week. So Yeah, babes. Always just so much fun to come on here, though, and chat Capitals hockey with all of you. Like I said, whether they are winning or losing, I appreciate all of you guys so much for tuning in again today, for listening to the show. I know that sometimes, we don't always want to hear more content, listen to more content, take time out of our day to sit and consume more content when the team is not winning games. So I really, really appreciate all of you guys being here today. Like I said, tuning in, listening to the whole show. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. I mentioned that off the top, but if you don't want to miss out on any and all future episodes, just give that subscribe button a click. We would love to have you here for the long haul for sure. For now, babes, this is Jenaya Talks Caps signing off. Thank you all again so much for listening. Until next time, babes, and as always, let's go, Caps.